almost a year now, y'all have been hearing me talk about the RISA, which the RISA stands for the Retirement Income Style Awareness. And it's an assessment that you can do right on my website. Just go to safemoneyretirement.com, go to the RISA tab, and it is a completely free basically an assessment of what's going to be the best way for you to get income in retirement to bring you happiness. It's kind of like one of those personality profiles, but it's just for retirement income and it's specific to you. So we're going to talk about my personal RISA results real quick. First, if you don't already have a copy of my book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, get your own copy right now. We'll send you one absolutely free. Just log on to our website, safemoneyretirement.com, or give us a call, 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233. Now, when you do your RISA, you're going to get an 11-page summary. Soon as you get it done, soon as you finish it, which will take about 10 minutes, you will get an 11-page summary emailed to you that explains exactly what your results say. So what I'm going to do real quick is go over what my results said so you can get an idea of what your results would sound like. So the very first section helps you to understand whether you are more safety first or probability, and commitment versus optionality. Let me explain what that means. What mine came back, I am strongly safety first. So in other words, I'm not probability would be let's put our money into XYZ product and hope it grows and hope that there's no market downturn and hope that I don't outlive my money. That would be more probability. I am more safety focused. So for example, one of the things on my sheet here, it says, I prefer having a layer of protected income for my essential expenses with remaining expenses funded for my investment portfolio. So everything that I do for me is safety first. I want to make sure that I've got enough income. And commitment versus optionality, I want to go ahead and make a commitment early on in my retirement to here's what I want, and I want to have it, I want to know that I've got the income versus being able to make changes, and in football terms, call an audible every few years and change things up. I would rather commit with big companies that I know are going to be there so I can make a plan and move forward knowing that that plan is going to be steady. So it talks about that. Another thing that it discusses that I thought I should mention is front loading versus back loading in retirement. Now, some of y'all have heard me talk about this before, and I am more front loading. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is a buddy of mine named Tom Hegna, that y'all have heard me talk about. I've got some of his books that I give out. He talks about the go-go years in retirement, the slow-go years in retirement, and the no-go years in retirement. Well, the go-go years are the first few years where you want to go out and do things and go see places and go visit family and do all those things. Well, if that's what you're more concerned about, you might want to more front-load your retirement income. In other words, you get more income right when you retire versus more income in the future when you're not going to be going as much. So for me specifically, that's something that works better for me, is I'm more of a front-loading person. A couple other things, time-based versus perpetuity. So perpetuity would be you want to put money into one and this plan is done and it's a one-time thing and you're done. I actually am more time-based. So what that means is I would prefer to have multiple smaller plans. So for example, I'll make sure I have enough income for myself when I retire. Initially, whenever that is, I'll make sure I have enough income then, but I want to have other plans that are continuing to grow until I turn them on in the future. I call that a ladder plan. If you've read my book, I talk about that. That I am more towards. And accumulation versus distribution. I am strongly, almost all the way over in the distribution column, because once I'm in retirement, because I see this all the time with my clients, it's much more important to make sure that you have your distribution set up rather than continuing to try to accumulate. Accumulate's what we've done our entire lives. Once you get into the retirement phase and you're withdrawing, you need to change that mindset from the accumulation over to the distribution phase. Also, once you get further into this, it actually breaks you into 4 different categories, either protected income, total return, time segmentation, or risk wrap. Now, talking to each person individually, I can explain exactly what each one of those means. Obviously, I don't have time in this short podcast. I came in as protected income. So what's going to work best for me is knowing that I have enough income for me and my family, no matter what happens, moving forward into retirement, and no matter how long that retirement lasts. So things like that would be, for me, that are extreme high concern is longevity. Also an extreme high concern for me is lifestyle. I want to make sure when I get into retirement that I've got the lifestyle that I want and the longevity, so it's going to be there for as long as I need it to be. Well, the only way to do that, again, is through guarantees, not, boy, I sure hope the market does good this year, this decade. I want to know for sure. So having these results from the RISA really help you narrow down exactly what's going to be the best fit for you in your specific situation, because you're going to be different from me. And based on how these results come in, when we sit down and meet, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person here in my office in Johnson City, Tennessee, we can go over these results together and determine from what you said and from what your results were doing the RISA, what's going to make the most sense for you. And then the very last part of the RISA, it comes in with what they call the financial implementation matrix. And that's just a fancy thing. Basically, it talks about how well you work with an advisor. And it goes all the way, I personally am a delegator. So I would prefer just to have an advisor, tell an advisor what I want to do, have that advisor basically do it. That's delegator. On the opposite end of that spectrum is self-directed. And that's someone that wants to take care of everything themselves. I don't want to do that. I want to leave it to someone that's got the expertise, and that's what they do. And then there's another matrix in here, and that's between validator and collaborator. And again, we can certainly discuss what each one of those things means if and when we sit down in person. But I strongly suggest everyone go to my website, safemoneyretirement.com, click on that RISA tab. This is completely free. There's absolutely no obligation. But going through this quick 10 or 15 minute exercise, you will then instantly get an email with all of the results, just like I did, just like I just read off to you for me, for you specifically. And why will this work? And why is this going to make you happiest? And how should you do it? And then having those results is absolutely invaluable in helping us make a plan for you that will be the best for your specific situation.
The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and are not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you are just taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. It's important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program are subject to change without notice.